Thank you, Sam, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Rani Glick, and I'm here to talk to you about the topic activating the brain with nutrition, fitness, and mindfulness. It may surprise you on how we traditionally believe the brain rules the body, that foods are much more than just filling our stomach for fuel, how fitness is key to the function of the body's health, and the roots of mindfulness go deeper than sitting on a hill and meditating. A bit about me. This is my family. I've been married for 34 years and have two sons, now 26 and 28. And this is our dog Knuckles. Some of you may have met him when I brought him to Daily Bread one day. My previous career, I worked as an arts management executive for 34 years in the arts and culture sector. In 2015, I became a certified nutrition practitioner, and I started out with my first business, the Wellness Wagon, creating some food products and sold them at trade shows, markets, and events. I also gave a lot of cooking classes. Wanting to work more with individuals and additional training, I took on additional training in functional medicine, nutrition, workplace wellness, and then coaching. And in the past year, I studied mindfulness-based stress reduction, the MBSR program, developed by John Kabat-Zinn at the Center for Mindfulness Studies here in Toronto. Using these various methods, I help individuals heal who suffer from chronic illness and stress, and I present a series of programs such as the MBSR program, mindful eating, and nutrition to groups and employees in the workplace. A fun fact about myself, I was an artist and created large welded steel and ceramic fired sculptures. So here's the agenda for the day that covers a range of topics, and we'll be discussing them throughout the next 20 minutes or so. So a bit of a disclaimer, no one size fits all. We are all unique beings. References and comments that I will say today and over the next few days are based on published studies and science, holistic and medical principles. I'm not referring to weight loss when I talk about nutrition or intensive fitness regimens. Concepts about mental health are well known, and practices done today are verified by leading medical health experts and organizations. So a bit about the physiology of the brain. The brain's role is overseeing mood, focus, attention, memory, and storage retrieval. It controls the nervous system, which is centered around coordination, information, and control. The brain, in conjunction with the spinal cord, regulates unconscious processes and coordinates most voluntary movement. The brain is the most complex system of the body and interacts with every body part and system. In the Western world and medicine, the brain has the highest status of being. Everything evolves around the brain. In Eastern religions and approaches, such as Chinese medicine, the 5 elements, it's the heart that rules the body. And in Ayurvedic medicine, South Asian medicine, it's based on your constitution, your dosha. The brain is one element. Overall, the brain is merely responsible for quickly getting us out of danger. You see a tiger, you run. The brain immediately responds by activating those quick-firing cells in the nervous system, signaling the hormones, adrenaline, and neurotransmitters. Those are the communication lines, and the muscles contract, and that activates the whole body to move. And there are 3 key brain chemical or neurotransmitters that I refer to. Serotonin is a chemical responsible for memory, temperature regulation, sleep, and the overall feeling of goodness. Dopamine is a chemical responsible for movement and emotion, long-term thinking and motivation. And beta endorphins, the brain's natural painkiller that increases our association with good self-esteem and general coping mechanisms. Yet the brain is actually lazy. It likes repetition and falls into habits that locks us into patterns of behavior. As human beings, we have the ability to think, and that separates us from the animal kingdom. Our thinking comes in over 70,000 thoughts a day, and only 2% of thoughts are actually real. The brain, however, is always seeking the easiest way to get into homeostasis, balance. The body also seeks that route and takes the most direct path. Sometimes it may not be the result you want. Traumatic brain injuries, mental illness, trauma, PTSD, anxiety, depression are results of the brain going out of balance or homeostasis, as I mentioned. Only several decades ago, the medical view was that the brain was fixed. We now know from scientific and technology that the brain is resilient, known as neuroplasticity. The brain can rewire itself or modify its connections by rerouting signals along a different pathway from damaged areas that can easily correct itself. Miraculous discoveries have taken place restoring the brain. That being said, the brain doesn't function on its own. The rest of the body kicks in, contributing with healing messaging to correct the brain's functions. And one of the central pathways that supports this process is the gut-brain axis. The communication lines between the gut and the brain consists of multiple connections, including the vagus nerve, the longest running nerve in the body, the immune system, and bacterial metabolites and products. Remember this, everything in the body is connected. The gut is the soil where the brain grows. This is a profound concept because neuroscientists have proven that there is gut intelligence that interrelates with our microbes and brain. We often call it the second brain, the gut, as mentioned in the previous slide about the gut-brain axis. And we've been also seeing this because of COVID, our vulnerability of our immune system. Each part of the human body is home to a different community of microbes. This is the National Institute of Health Human Microbiome Project says, these microbes, which live in the gastrointestinal tract, help shape the development and function of the brain. They can influence a range of complex human behaviors, including learning and memory, mood and emotion, and appetite and satiety. They also have been linked to disorders of the central nervous system, including anxiety, depression, autism, and multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's disease, which is a consequence of an ecosystem that has fallen out of balance. Unquote. The vagus nerve acts as a communication highway between the two. Not only is there a physical and mental link between the foods you eat, the brain to think, and the mind to feel, your digestive system supports that balance between your stomach acid, gut bacteria, and the brain. 70% of the immune cells live in your gut. This is the bacteria that lives in your intestines that contributes to keeping the body in balance. Do you know how many tons of food pass through your system in a lifetime? Guess. 60 tons of food will pass through your digestive tract. So what you eat makes a difference. And it also feeds your bacteria. The brain is also 60% fats, and it needs healthy fats. The core of good health begins in your cells, and the first stage of healing is supporting cellular health. Cell membranes are made from fatty acids derived from fats. Processed foods and high-fat diet severely affect the cell structure because fats become less fluid in nature, clogging up the bloodstream with pure indigestible fats. The worst is trans fats and hydrogenated fats that makes your brain cells slow, be tough, and rigid. They impede the plasticity of these cells. They mess you up. They make you age more quickly, and they slow you down. As we know, they are linked to increased risks of heart disease, diabetes, and those diseases that I've mentioned before, Parkinson's, MS, dementia, Alzheimer's, and they're associated with increased risk of depression and dementia. Taking fish oil, eating flax, hemp seed, and chia, eating cold water fish, avocado, nuts, and seeds, those are examples of healthy fats. And if you're still eating trans fats, Eating foods high in omega-3 or fatty acid fats and vitamin E are beneficial. Vitamin E is one of the most potent antioxidants, particularly for the brain. And vitamins A, E, D, and K are fat-soluble fats, so those are good for the brain too. Eating fresh whole foods, specifically vegetables and fruits, quality proteins, and healthy fats, contain the vitamins and minerals you want to flush out waste and oxygenate cells to protect the brain. Diabetes, heart disease, cancers are a result of high blood sugar diet, which can easily be regulated by the food we eat. It is in fact known that a high sugar diet can trigger mental disorders, increasing inflammation in the body and brain, but also dysregulation caused by an imbalance of nutrient deficiencies and the inability for the body to properly detoxify waste through the natural methylation pathways that we have. Essentially, what comes in must go out. And lastly, eating mindfully, being conscious when you eat slowly, chewing your food well to a liquid so the process of digestion can occur and your body is absorbing those nutrients. An example of a very interesting study is by Dr. Chris Palmer, psychiatrist, who has introduced a ketogenic diet to his clients and has really transformed their health from bipolar, schizophrenia, and other illnesses, personality disorder. And another great doctor who I really admire is Dr. Terry Walls, who was also a medical doctor who contracted MS. And through her investigation of vitamins and minerals and healthy foods, she was able to reduce her MS symptoms and has functioned properly, or well, I should say, through eating a high volume of greens, and that has really transformed her health. Well, water. Our body naturally needs water. It is the most important part for what our body is actually made up of. 2/3 of our body is made up of water. And it's the basic nutrients of water, carbs, fats, proteins, minerals, and vitamins that our body needs. We need water for hydration, and the recommended amount is 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. And you can also see there's a formula here of 1 ounce of water to 1 kilo of weight is another way you can measure water. And also fruits and vegetables are made up of water, so they partially count for the food and fiber that you eat. And fiber helps eliminate waste, so really adding fiber into your diet is really essential. So moving your body daily with fitness, so really important. I just got to find my information on that one. So I'm asking you, are you an athlete or a mover? I ask this question because everyone moves differently. I like to swim while another person likes to go jogging. Most of us are movers. We do a variety of daily activity, not really recognizing it as exercise. Daily exercise can be many things. It could be an organized mix of cardio and a low impact class for an hour. It could be walking briskly for 45 minutes or gardening for 2 hours. Or it could be a yoga class or again jogging for 30 minutes to an hour. Or you might think of how you loved to move as a kid. Doing cartwheels or hula hoops might be a possibility if that's something you enjoyed as exercise. Regular exercise gets those good endorphins going, building muscle and the mitochondria, which is part of the cell structure, the energy powerhouse deep in your cells, and encourages healthy choices throughout the day. Another way to look at it is to think about Goldilocks. Not too much, not too little, just right. You're seeking that exercise sweet spot, the Goldilocks amount for you. Too much intense exercise can wear you down, cause inflammation, and negatively impact your immune system. You don't want that. But remember, too little doesn't help either. One reason to exercise is that it reduces stress and the release of the stress hormones, like cortisol, that affect the health of our brain cells. But exercise also helps to save your brain from the risks of a cardiovascular condition that can cause a stroke or a lack of oxygen to the brain, cognitive failure, and neurodegeneration. Physical activity also boosts neural growth. It allows us to regenerate some of those neurons in our brain. It helps with the speed of information processing and reaction times, and it enables a better firing of our feel-good neurochemicals. And so exercise helps us keep us happy and maintain good emotional resilience. So what is the optimal exercise for energizing your health? Combining aerobic exercise such as jogging, walking, spinning or dancing with weight training or resistance training. At least 4 to 5 days a week for 45 to 60 minutes in total each day. And it's recommended to work up to it slowly, stretching out, taking care of your joints. And you might set a goal of some exercise or something bigger, like distance biking, training for a marathon, joining a fundraising walk for 10 or 21K. Mine is riding my bike daily to the Daily Bread every week. So many of us struggle with sleep, thinking we don't sleep enough, we're not feeling rested, or we're waking up a million times in the night. We are usually troubled by something that happened during the day, but is still being worked out during our sleep. It can be so frustrating and annoying that it drives us crazy. Most important is to have a regular sleep schedule. Specifically, a regular rising time and bedtime, and to be active during the day. Building up your sleep drive is important. High sleep drive is essential for obtaining deep, restorative, slow-wave sleep at night. On the other hand, napping, a sedentary lifestyle, and sleeping in, such as lingering in the bed in the morning, detract from the sleep drive accumulation. Increased physical activity during the day augments deep drive. Our body produces the amount of sleep that it needs, not what we think it needs. When our circadian rhythm is off and sleeping is up or down, our body functions, including our sleep-wake cycle, operate in approximately a 24-hour circadian rhythm cycle. We must set our circadian rhythm, or also called the internal clock, every day by engaging in regularly timed activities, such as exposure to sunlight, meals, having regular meal times, rise and bed times, as I mentioned, our social activities, and our exercise. When our schedules are highly variable, symptoms from working night shifts, jet lag, insomnia, there's a mismatch between the clock on the wall and our internal circadian clock. And another note is that hormones can also get out of balance. Managing stress is a critical factor that affects sleep. Long-term stress depletes cortisol production, decreases cortisol levels, and associated with fatigue, apathy, hypoglycemia, and other illnesses. Worrying about sleep is a self-fulfilling prophecy and tends to lead to more difficulty sleeping. Options for helping with sleep are cognitive behavior therapy and mindfulness practices. Deep breathing with a body scan techniques, visualizations are very helpful, or calming soundscapes or affirmations. The left and right hemisphere of your brain do very different things. You might regularly engage on your left side, analyzing using logic, memorizing facts. And on the right side, you experience feelings of enlightenment, joy, creativity, and desire for personal expression and play. And often the right side is not as actively used as the left. In Jill Bolte Taylor's book, My Stroke of Insight, she wrote a gripping story about her personal experience of living through a stroke. She was quite young. Predominantly a left-brain thinker, she lost its function and discovered her right brain that it brought her more pleasure and peace. In her book, she explores the right brain neural circuitry, and she says, I quote, "I believe the more time we spend running the deeper inner peace circuitry of our right brain, then the more peace we will project into the world, and ultimately the more peace we will have on the planet. So how do we tap into our right brain? By connecting to our body sensations, thoughts, emotions, and other parts of our being with mindfulness. I mentioned earlier how neuroplasticity has changed the way we look at the brain. The neurocircuitry neural pathways are formed when we repeat an action or response that creates a specific path the brain follows that becomes habit or daily routines. We can reduce stressful patterns by defining new neural pathways, such as when millions of neurons fire together, wire together. Such as in the example when you drive a car along a road day after day. It creates a groove in the path and you systematically continue to follow that route. When you choose another route, not one that you regularly traveled, you're redefining a new pathway. Here you have the opportunity to change past behaviors and respond differently, becoming less active to old habits and patterns. Plus the bonus of calming yourself down and the mind when they occur. This has been confirmed in PET scans in the brains of monks when in deep meditation showed a change in the thickness of the brain material. Mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way on purpose, in the present moment, non-judgmentally. This allows us to notice something without judging it as bad or good. In the practice of meditation, we observe body sensations, thoughts, and emotions arising, passing through us, and then ceasing to exist. For example, such as watching leaves drift by in a river without getting attached. The intention is to allow things to be as they are, in a being state rather than in a doing state, to treat things that are pleasant and unpleasant in the same manner. When we tend to our experiences without judgment, it is possible to move out of our automatic patterns, the automatic pilot of reaction. Affirmations and visualizations are another approach. Repositioning negative thinking into a positive mindset that can heal your body and mind. Repeatedly reciting these affirmations can repattern your thoughts, adjusting your perspective, and ultimately transforming your health. The body has the ability to heal itself if we become attuned to it and listen. In summary, the brain is merely responsible for quickly getting us out of danger. It relies on the other body systems to take care of it. The brain is resilient and can modify its connections by rerouting signals along different pathways from damaged areas and corrective self, also known as neuroplasticity. Brain health is made up of the trifecta of nutrition, fitness, and mindfulness. Eating healthy fats, whole foods, and balancing blood sugar levels feeds your cells and supports the gut-brain axis. Fitness strengthens the body, helps with sleep, and releases feel-good brain chemicals. And mindfulness calms the mind and aligns the body. You need all three to focus the mind and support the brain. Again, the body has the ability to heal itself if we become attuned to it and listen. You can contact me if you have any questions. I'm offering an MBSR program beginning May 19th to 17th. Here's some information if you're interested. Please contact me if I can give you more information. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present this webinar on activating the brain with nutrition, fitness, and mindfulness. Have a wonderful day.